As some of you may know, I'm a huge fan of retro video games. I tend to be open to games for pretty much any console generation, but I'm particularly partial to NES and SNES era games. Why? Because they fall into a category so neglected by modern day gaming. Older video games are just so easy to pick up and play. Of course I love my modern games, don't get me wrong. But every now and then, you don't want to go on a vast, complicated adventure that takes hundreds of hours of gameplay to complete. Sometimes, you're just in a, I want to get my ass kicked a few hundred times by a merciless, simple game type of mood. Older games really embody this idea. Often they're difficult as hell, simple and easy to play, and just completely skill-based. No complicated stat systems, no hand-holding, no huge open world or complex story with big themes. You just play the game and die over and over and over again until you get good enough to make it to the next level. As simple as that. But this is an idea that modern gaming seems to have mostly abandoned, opting instead for huge, complex games that, although can be hard at times, are never breaking your controller out of frustration hard. It wouldn't be fair to say that the genre of simple shoot and jump games is completely dead. There are plenty, but it's hard to say that it's going strong. Of course, there's many reasons to this. Big AAA games sell better, they're more appealing to a wider audience, in some cases because they are easier. And of course, as I mentioned previously in the video, the people that do like the older style of gameplay, for the most part, are only in the mood for that type of game with the keyword revolving around sometimes. But still, modern gaming could do with more balls to the wall, simple you pick up and play for a little while games. And while the selection isn't huge, there's no better example of this type of game than Cuphead. So we finally got to the point. Cuphead is many things. It's truly an anomaly in modern day gaming. A masterpiece. A passion project. Bad for my anger issues! You see, Cuphead is truly a retro experience with its old-timey soundtrack, beautiful 1920s hand-drawn cartoon-style graphics, and it's simple to learn but difficult to master gameplay, evoking that classic platformer shoot-'em-up type of gameplay. But I think what I love about Cuphead so much is that it takes everything I like about older games and improves the formula, tying it all together with a tight bow on top. Oftentimes, older games would have such high difficulties for a number of reasons, but most often to hide how short the game truly is. Going off this sentiment, unfair obstacles and enemies would often be put in the player's way. There wouldn't be options to continue from where you left off after losing all your lives, and the controls for the character would be stiff, unfluid, and straight up awful. So yes, while you could pick lots of these games up and play them without much thought, they were pretty unfair at times, and losing often feels more like the game's fault than your own. But Cuphead takes all of these issues and fixes them. When playing Cuphead, you never feel like when you die, it wasn't your own fault. You never feel like the game was designed unfairly. Obstacles and enemies aren't placed in unfair positions. You save your progress and continue from wherever you last left off. And the character controls are pinpoint accurate. When you die in Cuphead, you have nobody to blame but yourself. And you know what? Not only does that make the game better in so many ways, but also makes the frustration so much more real. And of course, the satisfaction of beating a hard boss or stage so much greater. You feel like you earned it more. Cuphead manages to be a rarity in modern gaming, as it truly is a completely skill-based game. While yes, it is somewhat short, you can still spend hours upon hours trying to beat it, especially if you're terrible at video games like me. The game manages to bring the easy to pick up and just start playing aspect and style of older games into a more up-to-date presentation that I for one really appreciate. And it's really the type of game you can play for as long as you want. Since you're not doing any huge hours-long quests or complicated grinding or anything else of that sort, the game doesn't suck your life away, like other modern games tend to do. You play for 10 minutes or 10 hours, whatever you feel like, and when you're ready to call it quits for the day, pretty much everywhere is a stopping point. You don't have to stop in the middle of something. The game doesn't make you feel like you have to keep playing, because you know when you pick it up again, next time, that boss or platforming stage will still be there. The game's just hard as shit, but not unfairly hard. As you get better, the game gets easier. It's brutally difficult, simple as that. But with all the improvements and luxuries of modern gaming, topped with an amazing art style and soundtrack, one might call it beautifully brutal. He said it! He said the name of the video! So I sang the game's praises a lot here and ragged a lot on modern games, so am I saying that I hate modern video games? No, not really. I love all types of games. Most of the time, I do play more traditional modern games. But I really appreciate Cuphead for what it is, and when I'm in the mood for something with that style, it's great. I guess if there's any point to this video, half my videos have none, it would be this. All styles of gameplay have a place in the modern day video game ecosystem. I just wish more projects like Cuphead came to fruition and were appreciated as broadly as this game is. Games don't have to be all one playstyle or another. I just think we could do with a few more games like Cuphead more often. Alright, it looks like I got through another long-winded rant about something no one cares about. Do you think that they're gonna at least like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and comment their thoughts on the game down below, or do you think that's probably asking for too much? I don't know, I think they will if they enjoyed the video. Oh my god, am I still recording?